Second question is reaching the age of sexual maturity. The term used for that is reaching the age
Puberty.
of
Puberty.
puberty. Very good.
Puberty.
Indeed, correctly replied.
Puberty.
Next one, gland which release the growth hormone.
Pituitary gland.
Pituitary gland.
Gland.
Now, the reproductive organ present in female. Reproductive organ of
Ovary.
Ovary.
ovary. Very good. Male gamete is also known as
Testes.
no reproductive
Sperm.
organ.
Testes.
Male gamete, I'm
Sperm.
saying. Answer is
Sperm.
Sperm.
sperm. Very good.
Sperm.
Now, hormone produced by pancreas.
Pancreas.
Insulin.
Insulin.
Okay, name the hormone which regulates stress and strain in our body.
Adrenaline.
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 Adrenaline, very good. It is secreted by adrenal gland and it controls the stress and strain of body. Next one, name the organ which is also called voice box.
Larynx.
Larynx.
Larynx is the correct answer. Larynx जो है वो बिल्कुल correct answer है. Now, the protruding part of the throat in males, that is called at the age
Adam's
of
Adam's apple.
Apple.
Adam's apple. Very
Adam
good.
apple.
Yes, I think all the students from class 8A and 8B, they are responding. They are correctly answering. Very good.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Yes, very nicely you people have replied. Acha, one question. What are the benefits of physical exercise? Who will tell me? Anyone who know the answer, raise your hand. Benefits of physical exercise. Yes, Aditya Ranjan. Aditya Ranjan, you start.
Yes, ma'am. Exercise help in better digestion of food
Very good.
and efficient elimination of toxin of the body.
Yes.
It improve blood circulation. It also increase the respiratory efficiency of lungs.
Very good. Yes, 3-4 point already. He already shorted out 3-4 points. That is the correct one. Very good. Now next question is from Preetham Anand. Preetham Anand, you are hearing me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Preetham, how can we determine the sex of a child? How can we determine the sex of a child? Preetham Anand. Do you know the answer? Or I am giving chance to other? Satyam, you tell me. How can we determine the sex of a child? Satyam.
And we can determine the sex of the child by the father of the child.
Is it a correct answer? How can we determine the sex of a child? Anyone?
If an egg
Yes,
fuses
ma'am.
with a 22 plus Y sperm, the result zygote will develop into a male child. If an egg fuses with 22 plus X sperm, the result zygote will develop into a female child.
Okay, very good. See, when we are explaining that how we can determine the sex of a child, we can determine the sex of a child by finding out the by finding out the chromosome that fuses with the female sex. Means if male sex fuses with female sex, the resultant zygote will be a female child, and if male's Y fuses with female sex, the resultant zygote will be a male child. Because we know that total 46 chromosomes are present in human. Out of that, 44 are autosome, and last pair is of sex chromosome. It is XX in female and XY in male. If the female sex fuses with male sex, the resultant zygote will be a female child, and if female sex fuses with Y, then the resultant zygote will be a male child. So this is the correct answer to that question, which right now I have put to you people. So now next question, moving on to our next question. My next question is that when we are talking about the menstrual cycle in a girl, the first of all menstrual cycle starts in a girl, that is not regular. The first of starting of menstrual cycle in a girl is called
Minarch.
when it,
Minar.
okay, that is the menarche, and it is not regular. It is the first of all starts in a girl. After that, when the menstrual cycle stop in a female, it is called
Menopause.
Menopause.
very good. Now, my question now is, what happened to an egg if it is not fertilized? What happens to an egg if it is not fertilized? Anyone?
The egg disintegrate and the lining of blood vessel is shed off.
Yes, the egg will disintegrate, and with the lining of blood vessels, it will set off. That result in menstrual cycle. But if the egg is fertilized, in that case, what will happen? If an egg is fertilized, what will happen?
The zygote is formed.
It
Zygote
develops
will
and reach
form.
the uterus
Where?
and
Where the zygote will form?
Fertilized by the sperm.
Sound is not clear. Okay, let me call one by one. Priyal Gupta, you are hearing me? Priyal? Priyal, you are hearing me?
When the egg is fertilized.
Yes, the
Yes,
egg
ma'am.
gets fertilized. Can you tell me the site of
Yes, ma'am.
fertilization? The site
Yes.
where?
Fallopian tube.
Fallopian tube. What is the another name of fallopian tube?
Fallopian tube.
It is also called
oviduct.
oviduct. So if the egg is not fertilized, if the egg is fertilized, then in the oviduct zygote will be formed. Okay, within a couple of days, the zygote will divide and it will form
Embryo.
embryo. The embryo will descend downward and attach with the uterine wall, okay, for development. Then after that, in the embryo, when its different portion can be clearly identified that this is the head region, this one will be the eye, then it is called,
Fetus.
Fetus.
and when a fetus is ready to born, it is called
Infant.
Infant or
Infant.
newborn baby.
infant. Now I think this
Infant.
topic is clear to you all. Okay. I think now this topic is clear to you all. So from anywhere, if the question will be there, either from the chapter 14 or from chapter 15, I think you all can answer. Don't you think so? Do you think you can answer?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now see, one case study is given in your, one question is there in your book, in which Arun and his sister, they are talking about the two teenagers, Arun and Arunima. Two teenagers, brother and sister they are, and Arunima observe a swelling on her neck region, as well as Arun also have swelling. Okay, Arun observe a small protrusion on his throat. Now, what is the difference between Arun and Arunima's condition? One question is there, na? Yes, Ansuman?
Arunima
Yes, ma'am.
suffer from
Ansuman?
Ma'am,
Arunima
Arunima
suffer
suffer from goiter.
Yes,
goiter.
Arunima suffers from goiter. And Arun has
Ma'am,
Adam's
Adam's
apple.
Adam's apple. So go through this question.
Adam.
Yes, ये जो क्वेश्चन है इसको थोड़ा ट्विस्ट करके ये दिया रहेगा So think if that type of question is there, how you can answer. Now, next one. Next question is deficiency of calcium and vitamin D leads to a disease that is called during adolescence. When an adolescence when an adolescence do not take a vitamin D or a calcium in his or her diet, then in adult stage he faces or she faces the problem of कौन सा प्रॉब्लम फेस करेगा
Bone
Osteoporosis.
osteoporosis. Okay, now अब question जो है from anyone, if you know the answer just raise your hand. What are the bad effects or we can say worst effect of drugs? Drugs के worst effect के बारे में बताओ मुझे. Anyone? Yes, Ansuman, tell me what sorts of problem a person will face if he or she is taking drugs.
Total increase of opposite sex also lead to
Yes.
adolescents to smoke.
What's your name? First of all, tell me.
Bad impact of our health.
If a person start taking drug, what sort of problem that person will face? Yesterday already I explained this topic to you. Yes, Shivam Raj.
teenagers often do not see the link between their actions.
Yes.
Using alcohol and tobacco at a young age increases the risk of using their drugs later.
They
Using the
lose
drug
self-confidence.
peer pressure to pose like an adult and to impress the opposite
That
sex.
is the reason for taking drugs. What is the impact of taking drugs? ये तुम लोग रीजन बता रहे हो कि क्यों लोग लेने लगते हैं, उसका इफेक्ट क्या होता है?
Drugs affect their health.
Yes.
Drugs affect their health and the adolescent may lose self-confidence and control over themselves.
Very good. What's your name?
Surabhi.
Surabhi, very good. She is correctly answering it. I only want to know that.
Ma'am, they
the
also
person
suffer
will
from
lose
AIDS
his
disease.
self-control. Yes, Aditya Ranjan.
Ma'am, they also suffer from AIDS disease.
Yes, it is likely chance that they may suffer from any infectious disease. If started taking drugs, then it is likely that they may suffer from infectious disease because the drug addicts generally use the same syringe to inject drug, and that's why there is more chances of spreading of infectious disease to them. One of the infectious diseases is AIDS also. So that is the reason. But the main answer is given by Surabhi that a person loses self-control on himself or herself. एक पर्सन जो है अपने आप पे कंट्रोल नहीं कर सकता है, his or her brain will not work properly. उनका ब्रेन जो है प्रॉपरली फंक्शन नहीं करेगा, and that's why they feel depressed. वो डिप्रेशन में चले जाएंगे और उनका सेल्फ कंट्रोल जो है, सेल्फ कॉन्फिडेंट दे विल लूज. उनका सेल्फ कॉन्फिडेंट नहीं रहेगा, वो लूज कर जाएंगे. That is the answer to this question. Very good. Now, excessive intake of calories during adolescence period may lead to what kind of disease during adult?
Obesity.
And better you say
Osteoporosis.
Cardiovascular diseases.
Very good. Cardiovascular diseases. We can say that person will suffer from heart related diseases. So these are the two chapters which we people have completed. Now, one question is there that pituitary produces growth hormone which regulate the growth, but it has also a very important role in regulating the secondary sexual characters in female and as well as male. What is the reason? How you are going to explain that how pituitary is controlling? How pituitary controls? Or why is it called master gland? Tell me. No one.
मैम
That
क्वेश्चन
is,
रिपीट करिए मैम.
yes.
मैम क्वेश्चन रिपीट करिए.
Question is, I am saying that you people have learned regarding the pituitary gland that it is secreting growth hormone which regulate the growth and development of body. Okay, pituitary जो है growth और hormone को secrete करता है. But I also told you that the secondary sexual characters which develop in a adolescence, that there also pituitary play important role. Now, how? Question is how it is playing important role. Tell me. Pituitary is playing very important role in triggering the secondary sexual characters. Also, how?
Pituitary.
Yes.
Pituitary gland in the brain secretes hormone which activate the ovaries and the testes to produce estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone. These hormones help in maturation of the gonads.
Very good. Yes, Satyam. Very good. Yes, this is the correct answer. ये बिल्कुल correct answer है. See, pituitary is acting. Pituitary is the master gland of the body, and it is regulating all other glands. So, it is also controlling the secretion of testosterone from testes and estrogen and progesterone from ovary. So these hormones, whatever released by the endocrine glands, that is finally controlled by the pituitary. And for maturation of gonads, pituitary play very important role, because the hormone which is secreted by pituitary, that is controlling the growth of the gonads. And that's why it has very important role. Very good. And now I think these two chapters are very much clear to you. I also told you that day to draw female reproductive system, draw the structure of a sperm. Two figures are very much important in this lesson. इस लेसन में दो फिगर ऐसे हैं जो कि बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट हैं. The first one is the structure of a sperm, and the second one is the female reproductive system.